Assalamu alaikum. Surah al-Takathur, the Qur'an's chapter 102, addresses humankind with cautionary censure and harsh criticism for being preoccupied with worldly pleasures, material gains, and personal advantages at the expense of the real life of eternal existence after this brief one. The surah warns humankind that each and every one of them is unequivocally going to rise from death for judgment and to see hellfire first hand with their own eyes, and then to be asked about their dutifulness to Allah during their earthly life in gratitude for every single divine favor that each of them ever enjoyed. Material acquisitiveness and accumulation and striving for increase have so engrossed you, and boastful rivalry has so enthralled you until you visit graveyards. But know, indeed, you will eventually come to know. Know, indeed, yet again, you will eventually come to know. Oh, no, indeed, if you were to know with certitude. Doubtlessly, you shall see the blazing fire, and again you shall doubtlessly see it with absolute sureness itself, with the eyes of unfailing certitude. And you shall doubtlessly then be questioned on that day about well-being. Noticeably, the noun takathur within this context generally has two explicit meanings, that is, denotations. One is seeking more and more, takathur, and one is boastful rivalry about the abundance of what one owns. So it's showing off about what you have. I have more, and the other one says, I have more. This is another shape of takathur. As for the verb alhaakum al-takathur, alhaakum, the verb alha yulhi means to engross with lahu. Lahu is what is interesting or gripping, and alha yulhi, the same verb, means to enthrall. So alhaakum, kum is you. Another point to comment on at this level of denotative rendering is the repetition 3 times of the word kalla in 3 successful ayahs 3, 4 and 5. This word kalla functions as what we call harfu rad'in, which expresses negation and or forbiddance, while it simultaneously means haqqan, truly, which provides emphasis on the context. It may therefore be understood to mean no, indeed. Furthermore, the repetition of the same word and or of the same sentence structure is well recognized as a means of extra emphasis. Then comes the word لَتَرَوُنَّ. لَتَرَوُنَّ. The normal shape of future, pure future, requires the sentence to be سَوْفَ تَرَوْنَ, you will see. But this is not what we have in the Qur'anic wording. It is لَتَرَوُنَّ and not you سَوْفَ تَرَوْنَ. This la تَرَوُنَّ, the lam, implies an oath. We call it lam muwatti'atun lil qasam. So there's an implied oath with the la tarawunna. And there is another tool for emphasis, which is the nun al-tawkid, the n. Now listen, سوف ترون ترون لا ترون لا ترون لا, and then n. This is called nun al-tawkid, which is used for emphasis. So we have two tools for emphasis at the same time within one word. This is why it is rendered as doubtlessly you shall see. And the same word is repeated in the next ayah, and the same structure in the ayah after that. ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ. So لَتَرَوُنَّ is repeated twice, and then لَتُسْأَلُنَّ, which has the same structure with the same double emphasis in it. And finally, it is worth clarifying here why the words عين اليقين are rendered in two different ways. This is because the word ayn within this context bears two meanings. One is the very same thing or the thing itself, ayn al-shay, hence with absolute sureness itself. And the other meaning for ayn is eye, hence with the eyes of unfailing certitude. Ayn al-yaqeen, with the eyes of unfailing certitude. Addressing unspecified plural addressees in the surah implies that the addressees are presumably the human race in general. Therefore, O humankind, your material acquisitiveness and accumulation and your constant striving for worldly increase have so engrossed you, and boastful materialistic rivalry amongst you has so enthralled you and kept you busy with gripping distractions until now with the metaphor of visiting graveyards decoded, until the time of your death arrives, and that is when you compulsorily visit graveyards is a stopover. It's a visit. And here, upon the mention of the of inevitable death, instantly comes the word kalla. But no, indeed, you will all eventually come to know. Will, sawfa. It refers to eventual future, not instant future. We use sa ta'lamun and sawfa ta'lamun. What we have here is sawfa, which is eventual. And the same phrase is repeated for emphasis. Know again, yet again, know indeed, yet again, you will in truth eventually come to know. Next, with an emphatic repetition of the same initial word, kalla, there comes a conditional clause. Kalla, law ta'lamuna ilm al-yaqeen. It's a condition with an unspecified result. Oh no, indeed, if you were to know with certitude. And what we get from this is, oh no, indeed, you would never be thus engrossed in the endless pursuit of worldly pleasures and material gains if you were to know with certitude. Nor would you ever then be thus engaged in materialistic rivalry with others. And this is followed by the divine promise and threat to everyone that all are going to witness hellfire, initially with their own bare eyes, on the day when all are to be questioned about everything that they ever acquired, accumulated, and strived for throughout their earthly life. Doubtlessly, this hereby is a divine oath that you shall all see the blazing hellfire. And again, here is another divine oath that you shall doubtlessly see it with absolute sureness itself, with the eyes of unfailing certitude. And this hereby is yet another divine oath that every one of you shall doubtlessly then be questioned on that day about all the well-being that you ever enjoyed. O humankind, your material acquisitiveness and accumulation, and your constant striving for worldly increase in wealth, prestige, power, children, fleshly gratification, and material well-being have so engrossed you, and boastful materialistic rivalry amongst you in all of these aspects has so enthralled you and kept you busy with gripping distractions for the whole length of your earthly life, away from grateful dutifulness to your Lord, Creator, and munificent Nurturer, until the time of your death arrives before long. And that is when, destitute, helpless, and unprepared, you find yourselves bound to compulsorily visit graveyards as a stopover on your way to your real home, to your final destination in the eternal afterlife. But no, indeed, this obsessive strife for worldly advantages is not what you ought to be doing. As you will all eventually come to know when the time comes for you to take your long stay in the grave, either in agony, torture, and fright, or in gratification and eager joy. There you will recognize your real gains and losses, and will experience what makes you realize without the shadow of a doubt that practical devotion to Allah was the only worthwhile thing in the earthly life that could have saved you from Allah's punishment and won you His reward for all eternity, while you will have intently wasted your only opportunity to offer that practical devotion, fully or partially, in preference of immediate gratification. No, indeed, yet again, deduction to the earthly life and its luster is not at all what you, who have been created for the sole purpose of being dutiful worshippers of Allah, are meant to be doing while you live on earth, as you will in truth eventually come to know when the time comes for you to rise from the grave. Oh no, indeed, you would never be thus engrossed in the endless pursuit of worldly pleasures and material gains if you were to know with certitude what awaits you beyond this brief earthly life, nor would you ever then be thus engaged in materialistic rivalry with others. Rather, you would in that case realize how ignorant and foolish it was to waste your testing time on earth in such vain pursuit and rivalry, instead of endeavouring to save yourselves in the real eternal life that awaits you beyond death. For doubtlessly this hereby is a divine oath, that you shall all be resurrected after death for the judgment and requital, and shall then see the blazing hell fire with your naked eyes. And again, here is another divine oath, that you shall doubtlessly see it with absolute sureness itself, with the eyes of unfailing certitude, but only when it will be too late for you to save yourselves from its matchless horrors. And this hereby is yet another divine oath, that every one of you shall doubtlessly then be questioned on that most horrific, never-ending day about all the well-being, the comfort, contentment, security, good health, wealth, prestige, and other boons that you ever enjoyed, about how you earned that and how you used it, and about your dutifulness and submission to your one and only Lord, Creator, Nurturer, and all bestower in gratitude for everything of that.